Welcome to Tough Talk with Teachers.
Real teachers that are in the trenches every day sharing authentic struggles, successes, and you can't make this up type of stories.
Edu-earners that talk the talk and walk the walk.
Welcome back to another episode of Tough Talk with Teachers. I'm Whitney Choate.
I'm Jonathan Compass.
And we are your hosts today. We are talking more about side hustles. We did a previous episode. If you have not checked that out, please do so. There's some awesome ideas and some awesome resources, but it was so popular, we wanted to continue the conversation and figure out more side hustles that other educators are doing. So today we have two other educators here in Southeast Missouri, and they are
Amber Beard, Teri Ralls,
and we're just going to dive in. So tell us a little bit about yourselves first.
Amber. I am a special education teacher for low-functioning students. I have been working with Cape Public Schools for 10 years, and I am a mom of 3.
I have been teaching for 10 years. I did 7 years in special ed, and this is my 3rd year in 1st grade. I'm a wife with 2 children.
Awesome. I love sitting around a table with this many special education teachers. This never happens. So what are some of the side hustles that you guys currently do?
I currently work for 2 Chinese companies working to teach English to Chinese students online. One of them is VIP Kid, which I have been working with for just a little over a year. And then I've been working with Magic Years coming on a year as well.
Okay, so tell us more about VIP Kid since both of you do that.
VIP Kid is an opportunity where I work one-on-one with a student where the parents look at a video that I do to introduce myself and kind of get to know me a little bit, and then they pick for me to work with their child at different levels. We have students that never had any English experience, and then we have some students that have been working on English in some capacity for several years. You have the opportunity to get to know the students, get to know their families a little bit, and get the opportunity to make that connection and that relationship with them.
So I work for them about 13 to 15 hours a week, and it's just a good opportunity to do it from your house while your kids are sleeping, and you don't have to worry about childcare and doing something after school. I do it before school. It's become quite a income saver for our family.
So because they're obviously in China, their time zones aren't the same as ours. So how does that work? Like you said, after your kids go to bed, so do you stay up late and do this, or?
China, Beijing hours are 13 hours ahead of us. So Beijing has 13-hour time difference. So for us, it is 5 a.m. in the morning. It is 6 p.m. in China. So I teach anywhere between 4 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. each morning before my children wake up. I wake up, I teach, and then when I'm finished teaching, I go get my kids ready for school, and the day has begun. Since doing this for over a year, my body is acclimated, but at the beginning it was a little difficult to get used to the lack of sleep that I was receiving. But again, as Teri had mentioned, it has been a very good debt reliever for our family.
So I get up to teach at 5 a.m. I teach from 5 until 6:30 every day. And then on the weekends, I teach longer. But I typically don't teach at night because my children are home and my husband sometimes isn't. So that's not convenient for me. But having the ability to go to your basement and turn on a computer and teach, and the curriculum is already done for you, is very convenient for us.
Awesome. So if someone was wanting to get started with VIP Kid, what does that look like, and what's the pay rate, or what does it start out at?
So to join VIP Kid, you have to have a bachelor's. Currently, the bachelor's does not have to be in education, but you have to have experience with education, such as babysitting, nursery type working, teaching a Sunday school class, those type of things. You are required to have that experience just so that they understand that you've had a chance to work with children. The lowest rate you could possibly get is $7 per class. Classes last 25 minutes, so you're making at least $14 an hour. The max that you can receive with VIP Kid, I believe, is 24 an hour, which is $12 a class.
It really just depends on your experience. Once you put your application in, you'd say, how long you've been a teacher or whatever, and then they kind of calculate it. Then you go on points from what your application looks like, how well you did on your interview, and then they kind of build your base pay from that. So it really just depends. I mean, it's different from person to person. So kind of depends on your experience.
And the contracts are 6-month contracts. So you sign it, you make $7 a class, and then you meet their certain criteria that they have, certain amount of peak time hours, which are like their prime time for students, and however many classes you've taught, those type of things. They have a formula that goes in there. Then you can get an increase of, say, 25 to 50 cents per contract. And that kind of depends on, again, per person, per situation.
Another perk to VIP Kid is you can open whatever slots you want to. You aren't like set in a stone with a schedule. So if you know that you can't teach on a Monday, Friday, then you just don't open classes those days. So it's very flexible in that sense as well.
That's awesome. Flexibility is key for teachers.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. How did you all find out about these different opportunities?
I found out about VIP Kid through a Facebook group for special education teachers. We teach SPED, I believe is what it was, or SPED Squad, something like that. And several people were like, what do you do to get extra income? And there was several teachers that had talked about it about 6 months before I actually applied, stating VIP Kid, VIP Kid. And I just kind of looked at it and was like, no, it's not really for me. And then actually, Teri and I had both kind of looked at it and considered it at the same time and decided to dive into it at the exact same time, just to kind of have that opportunity to discuss it with each other and have somebody that we knew that was doing it. But once we started it, we've realized there's about 30 to 40 different educators and or stay-at-home moms that are doing this side hustle in the Southeast region.
That's a pretty big number.
Yes, and we've had actually two meetups with these teachers and gotten to get to know them a little bit. Some are educators in other public schools, some are educators in private schools, and some are just moms that want to have a little break from their monotony of the day.
I heard about VIP Kid from a friend. She teaches in Jackson, and she had talked to me about it for 6 months, and I finally decided to join. So it was funny that Amber and I kind of heard about it at the same time and then decided to jump together. So that was nice having somebody to do that with, especially when we teach in the same building. So that was really nice.
And then another question is, why do you do these side hustles? Is it just to have some extra income for yourself?
Mine is to hopefully become debt-free eventually with 3 small children. It's very difficult, but being able to have that financial stability to be able to provide to my children the sporting things that they want to do, give them those experiences that we may not be able to do just on a teacher salary. And it became more of a fun experience more than just the income side of it.
I agree. So I did it for the rising cost of living and having 2 small children, just having that extra income that you're not stretching from paycheck to paycheck each month. And it's really become quite a fun little adventure every morning. So.
Now, you said you do another side hustle. What is that?
So I also work for Spoon Read. It's very similar to Accelerated Reader, if you're familiar with that. So this is all online. So they send me a book, and I read a paragraph, and then I write a comprehension question with 1 right answer and 3 wrong answers. And you make $1 a question, and you really just pick the level. If you would rather do primary books or if you would rather do more secondary level books. So that's something else that I kind of do in the evenings when my kids' homework is already done, or if I know that they're going to take a nap one day, then I sit up and I do that. So it's just kind of something a little extra, and it's fun, and you get to read. I do primary books, so they're pretty quick to read and do a question, so it's a little bit more income for us.
And then what about you, Amber? You do VIP Kid and
I also do Magic Ears, which is another Chinese-based company that teaches English to students. The difference between Magic Ears and VIP Kid is VIP Kid's been around for several years. Magic Ears is just a little over 2 years old, and Magic Ears teaches up to 4 students at a time. So the platform is a lot more interactive. You have to manage more of those behaviors and the students. But the neat thing about that is you have the opportunity for the students to interact with one another. And what I like about Magic Ears is they're more flexible with the need if my child's sick or I wake up not feeling well or emergency situation comes in. They don't penalize me for not being able to teach. They're very family oriented and understand that things happen and you can't control that. The other thing with Magic Ears, just a big thing for me, is the opportunity to feel that you are a person and that you're not just a number. But being a new company, that's a big part of how they're different. Is they've not been around as long, so they're trying to build their teacher base.
Well, that sounds pretty amazing too. Then, so 3 different side hustles there. If somebody has a question about any of the side hustles that you all do, how can we get a hold of you?
So if you want to email me about VIP Kid or Spoon Read, my email address is tralls23@gmail.com.
And if you want to contact me about Magic Ears and or VIP Kid, my email address is a.propst137@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to put those in the description too. So if you didn't catch those or get to write them down, don't worry about it. We'll have it in the description of the podcast for you.
And again, if you haven't checked out part 1, we have a link in the description for part 1 of Side Hustles, and hopefully these will be some great avenues that you guys can explore and maybe even pick up this summer.
Yes, and one other note. I know you guys also have a Facebook page, right?
Yes,
for
VIP Kid.
For SEMO VIP Kid, yes.
Okay, and we'll be sure to put that in the description too, so you can go and follow them and ask them questions there. And they are both very friendly. I know whenever I've asked either one of them about it, they are so knowledgeable about these side hustles. So please feel free to reach out and contact them about these.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Here at Tough Talk with Teachers,
We know teaching is tough, but so are you.